is going to be insane. But ladies and gentlemen, enough talking with us here on the desk. Let's send this over to Miles and Chance to kick off the day. We got Atlanta. We also got Toronto. Fellas, take it away.
Thank you very much, lovely gentlemen of the desk. Ali, we hope you're doing fantastic. Chance, let's get into this one, brother. I am raring to go. Now, I'm actually ready to go. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing all right. You know, we get to cast Atlanta in FaZe. That is always a good time. Admittedly, it has been an incredibly lopsided series, but it's fun Call of Duty nonetheless, and especially because the map set we have. Atlanta FaZe, they've been to every single grand finals. They know better than every other team. You need a deep map pool. If you go to a best of 9, especially if you come from the loser's bracket, you don't get the option to ban whatever you want. So you're playing basically every single map. So they get the Berlin hardpoint against Toronto, and Toronto, that's their best hardpoint map. Both the searches are fantastic for the Ultra as well. So I think FaZe, they've already qualified for champs. They're thinking long term. You gotta be able to play everything and beat the best at their best.
Well, here we go. Let's see what Ultra can bring. They've had an interesting run of the qualifiers so far. Hit a Major 4 and all good in the hood for Simp. Gets himself 3 right off the rip. Wow, nice job on that FaZe there. You may have not got the first blood here on P1, but you certainly got the time. Great work there already, Chance. And man, what a week it's been. Qualifiers last week, and of course we continue things now. And mate, I don't know where to put Ultra in the grand scheme of things. FaZe looking as dangerous as ever, though.
Dangerous is an important word, because obviously we talked about how they're like sort of expanding their map. Well, funnily enough, it is sort of an interesting pick for Toronto Ultra as well, because, well, statistically, this is their worst hard point, and the 2 times they played against FaZe, they have gotten bodied. So a bit risky to let it through, but admittedly, you know, you're 2-12 against Atlanta in the respawns. It's not like you have great options, and it's not like that's a great kill feed. Another 4-man wipe, another early rotation or break over towards P2. Atlanta right now in complete control of the map.
I mean, this is the sort of scary prospect for many teams in the league that FaZe are working on the map pool. FaZe are tightening up all the screws, and they are doing a wonderful job as just screwing Ultra right now, man. It is brutal here on Gavutu to start things off, Chance. CleanX is trying to find anything he possibly can across the map. 3-3 for him overall. Simp is having a whale of a time. 8-2, 5-1 for Arcitys now. 6-1 makes it a 5 spree. Unbelievable opener here from Atlanta FaZe and Gav.
And, you know, Simp's the guy that's feeling good right now. You just expect him to win these gunfights, all right? Maybe CleanX actually be there to shut him down before things start to spiral too far out of control. But, I mean, funnily enough, just because of how often these two teams have played, we get to see, like, who performs where. And Simp is the guy that really turns things up in this series. He loves playing him some Toronto Ultra players.
He really does. Well, so far, rotations of it all's third are going to be complete. It's going to be Toronto Ultra there in position. Insight and Bance. The boys on the beach now, digging in, finding what they can. Cammy's got the flank cover. CleanX roaming through the middle of the map. Here come FaZe through the front line. Trades abound. Trying to make sure that front line stays safe as Toronto Ultra now finally soaking up some time. Sorely needed indeed. CleanX, the AR comes to a close. Cellium's can still have top boat. Angles now starting to work out for FaZe. Slowly, one by one, they will creep closer towards this point. Here comes the contest. Straight into it we go. And Insight now, tooth and nail. It's knives and lint. It's going to throw everything he's got. aBeZy stays alive. Good bit of work there, but Chance an open point, and that last man down. Ultra, they're on the ropes.
Yep, good nades and a better shot from Arcitys, and now if you're Toronto Ultra, you are getting bullied, stuck in your spawn, not having any path on this rotation really at all, and even on a money hill, even when you get that early rotation, you still are just having absolutely no success, and this is where things actually get really bad if you're playing against Atlanta. They are the best P4 team in the game, and I mean, Miles, we've called it out and casted it a few times. The way they play this P4 hill, they will open up these back spawns, eventually allow the flip to happen, and then guarantee themselves the rotation of P5. So right now, Ultra, this is the most delicate moment of the game. You mess up here, it'll be too big of a lead, and you won't be able to come back.
Yeah, the back spawns, it was that top right-hand side of your screen. We're looking down on Gavutu there. Keep an eye on that spot. On the mini-map, it's top left. We'll see what happens now as Ultra right in through the front. Bance gonna lead the charge, gets himself a nade kill. CleanX trying to pick up as many as he can before being traded out. Here comes Cammy though. Can't get any more out of it as back and forth we go. Even trades here against Ultra and FaZe. And there we have it. The final kills come through. Atlanta FaZe remain in control. Hardpoint is all theirs. But this is it, Chance. They're opening the back door and they're gonna let Ultra walk in.
These are a couple nice gunfights, actually. Yeah, you see everybody winning their ones in Ultra. Well, at least they're not ending up in the back spawn, but you see Atlanta FaZe at least spawn now. So I suppose this is a good news, bad news situation. Good news is you break through on P4. You actually make that a pretty balanced hill, and you fight in this game. So that's the good news. Bad news is still not an easy rotation over towards P5. So I think Atlanta FaZe is going to cut their losses, and you already got aBeZy collecting that time. You already had Atlanta actually pushed out deep over towards Ring. Those two players falling. That's the opportunity for Toronto to get in the mix. Bance might take a tumble, at least Insight's nearby.
This is a great bit of work actually from Ultra trying to stay alive here. Not letting that trap get away from them. Arcitys though lighting up the kill feed. It's all good now for FaZe. Cell's got the top ring side covered. Opens up a lot of angles now to play with for FaZe. Great work out of Cammy off spawn. Pressure's now on. Arcitys getting pushed back. As Ultra, they managed to do as much as they can to keep FaZe off of P5 as best as possible. Not an easy thing to do, again, with the disparity from hard point to hard point. You've got to make quite the trek across map. But for now, all good, baby. We're going to keep that one going. Final 15 seconds here on P5. We go back over towards Ring. Ultra are there for now. You can bet your bottom dollar that FaZe are coming at them.
I mean, well, also just like not even coming at them, like spreading far apart, right? I mean, aBeZy was pushed out deep cliff, but maybe a little bit too spread. As you see CleanX in the feed, he's picking up two, and it should be Ultra there to the point first, and they clear out Arcitys. So that was a ton of map control and a map spread that Atlanta FaZe has, but that's just a setup for Ultra to get inside this hill. Granted, they're down by 70, but P1 on Gavutu, one of the best money hills in the game. They can get right back into swinging things here.
Yeah, so far, Ultra, they may be down in the kills department, but they're certainly not out of it. Let's now dive in for a listen in and hear how they sound.
Sounds weak, sounds weak. They're gonna...
Top out.
Inhale.
Top out as well, Simp. Well, already top out, yeah.
Weak.
Look left, on the rock. Close on you.
What's him? He's dead.
Underpass.
Nice. aBeZy's on ult.
Yeah,
Are we playing
set up.
we go nuke? Go nuke. Can we top over me?
Yeah, I'm watching more than one.
I don't see him top boat. That's me. I'll kill him when I get him. Oh man, he's top green to hole. S2 in hole.
On a hole.
Simp.
Mid tank. Left side, mid tank, left side.
Oh shit, yeah. I'll kill him high.
One's probably pinched around cliff then.
Could already be cliff on me. Yeah, one's gonna pinch.
Okay, he's on the fucking
It's over. Nice. Sim top cliff. He's on front cliff. Look, nice. Went for one. Nice, last guy. Look at Cell. Yeah. Look at cliff.
Yep, flip. Red tower.
I'm in bunker.
Front red tower.
I'm looking at my cubby right now.
We did.
P5, one. I got naded. Simp P5.
Stand over here.
Miami close.
On the railing.
S2. In time, in front green. Someone railing, front green. Yeah, on the railing. Nice. Where's that guy? Oil. Can we get time? Yeah, I'm watching close. I've got time. Try to get top out.
Oil.
Pull that cliff. One down, someone's S2. Yeah, S2. No, yeah, S2 top boat. Looking for one. Good shit, boys. Get across the right.
One shot ult. There's one top out and one ult.
Okay, one's gonna be Nero on me. He's crossing this one as well. He's Nero on me.
I have to play these guys.
Yeah.
Just play P5 still.
I can play Nero on me. Good. Nothing's crossed you close.
Left side P5.
Is he past you, Toby, or not?
Nah, you can't be.
Okay. One stick on me.
I'm running.
Watch him make up.
Classic Toronto Ultra comms chance. A little bit of frustration here and there, and I mean, quite frankly, that's what you have to deal with when you play against FaZe.
Well, also, they got like Vanguardian Leviosa as well in the middle of that, right? I mean, the spawn sort of like randomly flipped out, at least based on the minimap, seemingly for no reason, and at least not something I understand. And well, all of that leading into another P3 where Ultra get their early rotation, but are just struggling to actually collect any of that time. Again, the nades from Atlanta FaZe have been on point. The wall bangs from Arcitys have also been on point, and I suppose no surprise there. Arcitys has 22 kills to his name. Simp right there with them, and I was gonna say maybe Ultra stabilized, but no. I mean, aBeZy's winning the gunfights at old. I mean, they're almost playing this like Tuscan with the way they're hitting like this, final 20 seconds of time and pouring the pressure on. But obviously, Atlanta FaZe, a well-oiled machine on Gavutu hardpoint, back to where they are the best team in the game on this P4, and where they're really looking just to close this one out.
We can end it all here. Set with a nice two-piece. This could be the final hard point we see. Who is it on the flank, though? Bance, no, cut down. Unfortunate timing. That could have been the saving grace here for Toronto Ultra. FaZe continue to add bodies to the pile. Arcitys has had one hell of a map, friends. 24 and 17. Pressure on the hard point still. Frontline all covered. Has Bance got an opportunity to get in? Final 10 seconds here as this one surely will be closed out. Simp with a cross. 1, 2, almost all three, my word. The kills are there. The time is also, and Cellium from a tippity top the rock. Atlanta FaZe can walk right on into that map 1 victory. Lordy, Gavutu looked easy for him.
And early prediction, I think that might be the last time we see Toronto actually try to square up with Atlanta FaZe on Gavutu. I think they might just start rolling the dice on Bocage more often than not, because that was not pretty. I don't think there was a single hill where they truly had success on. I mean, early rotations to P3 both times around, doesn't matter. You get the full setup on like a P1, it gets broken down. And I mean, FaZe truly able to do whatever they wanted. Both Simp and Arcitys absolutely putting in work. But I mean, 4 players across the board positive for Atlanta. All 4 players negative for Toronto. That is almost exactly how you would expect the GVU2 to go.
And there we go. That is it. Map number 1 complete, and a powerful display from Atlanta FaZe here in the hard points. Ultra seeming to still have sort of struggles in the game mode. I mean, they've had their ups and downs, of course. They did get a true Vanguardian Levioso for a solid performance when it came to their major. They come straight back online, and London give them the absolute hands. But for now, if you're Toronto Ultra, this is a sorely needed series win, seeing a 5th place overall in the standings. We will continue to remind you all, friends, of how the standings and the points look, because of course we are on that road to champs. The major will be a blinder, no doubt. But for Ultra, every win counts. Every 10 points they can possibly garner, massive.
And also just for the fact that, I mean, what is Atlanta FaZe versus Toronto with these rosters? Like 11-1, 12-1 in the head-to-head matchup. Like, Toronto Ultra, you know, if you're gonna win a tournament, you have to beat Atlanta FaZe. Like, you know, they're gonna make the grand final sort of thing. And admittedly, that is where Toronto actually did beat him in the Cold War season. But like, this is it. I mean, this is the team to beat if you want to try to win, let alone the CDL points. So I'd say for Ultra, especially because the maps that have gone through, the best possible opportunity through the Vanguard season, they actually had to take FaZe down. Granted, not the GVU2 hard point, but I suppose the Tuscan S&D, the Berlin S&D, and the Berlin hard point is really what I'm looking at for Ultra to try and fight back. So I say the potential is definitely here. Obviously not easy because, you know, as the later maps come through, Toronto maybe have the edge, but certainly early on it's FaZe.
Crazy. Well, we'll see how we go there. And again, the opening of the series, a tough one for the boys there of Toronto Ultra. Nameless called it perfectly on the desk, mate. This is not quite the same rivalry we saw last season, which was very, very exciting to say the least here. It's a little tricky, though. Toronto Ultra, a team that you can never truly count out. It is never chalked, etc., etc. Bance, Cammy, CleanX, and Insight Chance. Unbelievable players in their own right.
Absolutely. You see, like, one of the issues they were having, though, right? The worst hold team in the game on GVU2. And, I mean, well, we saw that on P3 both times, on a P1, just unable to hold the hill. And granted, you know, you're shooting against FaZe. FaZe probably one of the best teams in the game at breaking these setups as well. But that first key did not pan out for them. And, I mean, so far that ties in the second one as well. It has been the respawns. They have been getting absolutely dominated. I think Toronto now 1-9 against FaZe in the hard points, and then 1-4 in the controls. So that's what we talked about. The fact that you get the Berlin hard point, you're happy. And the S&Ds, I mean, you know, pretty much has to be that must win. We do go to a Tuscan search and destroy. Toronto overall 10-5. compared to the 7-6 of FaZe. So if you want to sort of flip the narrative a little bit, this is where Ultra have the edge, and this is where FaZe needs to start making those improvements. Obviously, they're still a strong search and destroy team, but when it's come to the grand finals, it has costed them just a little bit.
Indeed. Well, that was your game fuel keys to victory. We'll see if they can come through for Ultra. Again, the respawn's not been great. I'm interested that you bring up the search though, Chance. I mean, again, FaZe looked great against Seattle Surge. The one time they've really managed to go good in search in a grand finals. Will they be able to keep it going though? That's the thing. We saw them hit new levels last week. It was wonderful to get and see them in action. Of course, they handed out what? The dub donuts, man. Like the craziest we've seen against the LA Thieves. I mean, I think it's going to start being called the LaRue. I'm not sure. If we just, I don't know. I'm not read it. We'll see what you guys think of that one. We'll get to that when we get to that though. But yeah, FaZe has just been improving every game mode across the board, man. It's been scary. We're watching them slowly but surely find form. Can they win a major though, Chance? That truly is the question.
Well, yes, they absolutely can. Whether or not they will, that's the case. But obviously, if you say can, 100%. Also, I don't know if calling it, I don't know if you can give a nickname to the double donuts, because I don't think that will ever happen again. But just to touch on these two teams, at least for the search and destroy, it is a little bit funny. Obviously, Cellium, one of the best players in the game, obviously in that MVP contention, and search and destroy is his bread and butter. This is one of the very few teams where they actually make him look like a normal, like, human player. I mean, he goes from throwing up like a consistent like 1.25 in the game mode, but when he plays against Toronto Ultra, he drops off to 1.03. So obviously still good, but not quite that normal, terrifying Cellium. And obviously Insight is pretty much always been that guy in this game mode. It includes when he plays against Atlanta FaZe. So I'm looking out for Insight to have that consistent level of production. If we talk about how Cellium has a slight drop off, well, the exact same thing could be said from CleanX. Ordinarily, CleanX is a 1.09 overall. drops to a 0.62 when he's playing against FaZe.
Oh, FaZe. They just do that to teams. And here come FaZe. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. Bance, you better get out of there. Here comes the cross, though. Nice work from Cammy. Damage in. Doesn't get any kills as aBeZy and Cellium fight their way through. And they have cleaved Toronto Ultra in 2.
Yeah, and that is a FaZe Cold War strat if I've ever seen it. Hey, aBeZy, run straight at them. Do not stop. You get stunned. No. Do not care. Do you need to float in the sky? Do that. Do you need to pick them apart? We can do that too. Utter dominance. One of the fastest rounds of Tusk and Search and Destroy we've seen at the more difficult bomb site. We talk about FaZe, S&D Cold War strats, the terrifying giggles of aBeZy after he just does whatever he wants is seared into my memory for the past 2 years.
And this is a terrifying prospect. It was scary enough to begin the season with. We knew FaZe were always going to be those guys, and now they are slowly finding that form. A wonderful round to openings off proceedings here in the Search and Destroy. The first match of the day is Atlanta FaZe looking as strong and as confident as ever. In mid-map we go. Lordy, aBeZy with the opening blood once again. Can he find any more out of this one? I wouldn't be too surprised. Kills still not quite flowing forward. Bance with a bomb. aBeZy's got no idea he's there, but the 3 spree continues.
It's going to be one of those games. Yeah, aBeZy going to fly every single round, and shots like that are not going to be good enough to take him down, and leaves Bance in a not-so-fun 1 versus 3 where, I mean, hey, Arcitys might have a sniper, but that is 3 players set up ready to go through P5, and he's going to die here, right?
He's got to die here.
Eventually.
I mean, he's checking every corner. As Bance is... What a different look, though, from 2 teams. I mean, the members of FaZe were flowing as a 3, and Bance is literally crouch-walking. He's crouch-walking his way towards the B-bomb site. He may be able to get this one planted. 35 on the clock. FaZe, they're close enough. As Ben Bance is playing the most cautious game of COD we may have seen him attempt in his entire career. Here we go. This is going to be interesting.
Well, he has planted it in like the best possible spot to clutch from a few different angles. So he's got a couple avenues of attack, and well, you know, Simp there guns him down. No big deal. 2 clean, basically perfect rounds coming out of Atlanta FaZe. Not even the time to set anything up, and not even time to shoot back against aBeZy. 2 for 2 with holding that left stick down, sprinting as quickly as possible, and now just letting that dead silence slowly build back up.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Come on,
whoa,
man.
Whoa. Cut to commercial.
He's not
Commercial.
that good.
Get,
He's
whoa,
good.
Get out.
He's not that good.
Whoa. It's only Friday. Whoa. Holy. Next round, please. Ultra, though, they've got a bit of work to do now, man. The first bloods from aBeZy. They have been Cold Warrior chance, I think, is one way of putting it.
Yeah, that team knows how to party.
Next round. Get us out of here. Come on. Good work out of Ultra, though. Used to try to keep things, you know, all sensible. Bance with a slow round. First bloods this time. Who's going to get it? Will it be CleanX? Shots are on, and he does. He gets the man himself. aBeZy, the reach out. Oh, nearly. Gets himself both the terrors, but that's going to be it. It's a 5 spree now for Simp. As FaZe looking good, but Bance right back into this 2v2.
Yeah, it's still no dead silence, though, right? So incredibly loud. So you see Bance actually has to pump the brakes because he's just going to get hurt if he tries to make moves, and can be feeling the pressure on the flip side. So Ultra sort of have them pinched in the moment. Arcity's backing him down, and that's the play call. I think, ooh, maybe they're looking to hunt down Cammy. They're trying to figure it out. Atlanta FaZe dancing around field.
Yep. No one's really going to peek this one, are they? Cammy might. Oh, my word. Bomb's going to get planted. Arcitys. He sees his shadow. His shadow's giving away his position for now, but now it's just backing up. 2v2 retake FaZe with field side. And here come Ultra. Arcitys surely gets 1 out of this.
I turn on that they are just 2 patient teams. 30 seconds left. It's a little bit of time, but FaZe are happy for this setup. Simple, just sit on that tree, and I don't know if you check this angle from Arcitys.
Slow and steady. Simp holds it. Big gunfight out of Cammy. Now it's a 1v1. 15 seconds on the clock. Arcitys is going to get out of dodge. There he goes. He's gone. Surely that's the round. Even with a big fight here, that would have been it. Cammy, no chance. Clinical work from FaZe. A solid attempt there from Ultra, but wow. Great search and destroy all round.
And it's just too slow. I mean, you know, we've seen Ultra do that a few times where they're incredibly patient and make that perfect break. But I think if you just buy Cammy an extra 3 seconds, it is certainly more possible. But RC just makes too perfect of a play, has the off angle, takes down the gunfight against Bance, and just goes for the easy readjustments. And Certainly not a clean and perfect round, Ultra fighting back, but funnily enough, just the fact that, you know, Bance isn't rocking Ninja, I think having to slow down in those moments, certainly not ideal. The hard counter on defense for FaZe does not pan out because obviously that bomb going towards B, but Toronto Ultra a little bit slower than Atlanta is when they're attacking this site.
Yep, they've managed to get themselves across, but this is the big difference maker. Yes, there we go. Insight wins the first blood. Space to work with, and I love this. You've hit the first kill, you've pulled the defenders from FaZe now towards B, and you've dipped out. aBeZy the lone man now in what potentially could be a 1v4 towards this side of the map. Less than a minute to play with. Here we go, Ultra.
And he's also going to be loud as well. No one near enough to hear the footsteps just yet, but he has been sort of left on an island by himself. But CleanX, I don't know if you check it like this. Nice shoulder throwing through. They had the intel, and well, they take him down. Great work out of Ultra.
Good work out of Ultra. You push Arcitys back as well. You keep him suppressed. Now, Simp, look at him. Oh, he's a creepy little demon. As he works his way around the corner, shuffling on all fours. Arcitys that snipe in hand. Oh, my word. Cammy, the timing was there. Here comes the AR. Beautiful shots from Arcitys now. Makes it round to Ultra. We're not out of the woods just yet.
Dude, and watching some of these gunfights from like the Toronto Ultra POV could be like a little bit intimidating, right? Because like we're watching aBeZy. I'm thinking CleanX is gonna die, throws the perfect shoulder. Then we watch CleanX square up against Simp, and like he's on a godheady, has the angle, has the pre-aim, and then Simp just fries him off the head glitch. You have to be perfect playing against that team, and well, Ultra were nearly that in that round, so they take care of business, and sort of as predicted, right? Cellium looks human when he's shooting back against Insight, at least in search.
Okie dokie, CleanX strikes again, and one is the fights against Simp. I mean, these two battling each other fantastically. FaZe not letting go of that side of the map though, holding it down. Cellium making his way through the B side. For now, it's just going to be a slower hit. Who's that number 6? Simp. He's making his way across now just to provide some noise. Bance standing on top of the table, usually very bad manners, but here it was just a means to traverse the map. Here comes the hit. Cammy looking for anything. Auto aim, shots in. That's the fight, and a massive win there from Ultra. 4v1.
Big wins now, aBeZy. I mean, again, first blood Reaper, but Atlanta FaZe on a couple of these offenses, and well, they're certainly normal when you're playing slow on Tuscan on offense, but they have struggled just that much more. aBeZy forced to back down, playing with the food, and Cammy there to drop him. Ultra with that fight in them. 2 rounds now in a row, and maybe more time when it's methodical and slow. Toronto are nice and crisp. When aBeZy is literally just flying at you, was a little bit less fun. So I think if I'm Atlanta, I take aBeZy back off that leash and let that man fly.
It's not without its grace, but it's not the most sort of finesse when it comes to the play of aBeZy. He's just straight in, right down Main Street. You have to deal with him. He certainly forces your attention. 6 and 3 for Simp though overall here in the Tuscan Search and Destroy. 5 and 4. Oh my word, Arcitys once again. Beautiful stuff. Shutting down Mr. Clutch himself. aBeZy onto Bance. CleanX, can you find anything here? Catching a corner or two would be great, but aBeZy and Simp, the terrors down by the well. And this is a tough round already for Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, Ultra also super split, so you're relying on sort of individual plays, but obviously you see how well grouped Atlanta are. Not a ton of openings. I think FaZe may be happy to allow this bomb to get planted at B and just trusting their retake in the 4v2. As long as they don't get picked apart, they're good to go, and it looks like they have found their corner.
Here comes all of Atlanta FaZe. That is it. It's going to be a target-rich environment for Toronto if they can catch a player out. The CleanX, pick a corner, get that gun up. Here come FaZe.
All 4, well, at least 3 down the outside. CleanX, good luck with this one. I mean, you're set up in a situation where you can get the trades. Bance or CleanX takes down 2. And that does leave Cammy. The trades aren't instant, but now 22 on the clock, but you see what's going on. Cammy, I don't know if he reads this.
He might not read it. They're on the bomb. That should be the defuse. There it is. It was a 1v1, and in the end, enough numbers prevail. FaZe continue to have decisive moves there in the search. And CleanX, man, he did everything he possibly could. He drove the numbers down to half. And FaZe, heads up play. Strong work from them. Ultra once again left guessing. Good search now on our hands though. Chance Ultra have started to come to life. I mean, there's a lot of signs here. Both teams. The smiles are gone from FaZe, man. They've just started to serious this one up a little bit. 4-2. Here we go.
I mean, hey, trying to play that mistake-free Call of Duty, not an easy thing. And you actually see CleanX did get to outer, so Arcitys doesn't spot the information towards the top side of the map, but maybe no big deal. That bomb leaning towards B. I think after round number 1, Bance said, I'm not letting the same thing happen again. Him and Canny cornered up just a little bit to help each other out. CleanX playing with RCs just a little bit. Both players back down, and I still think FaZe are going to try to force this action over towards B.
aBeZy holding it down. Great shots. CleanX though wins it, and that's a massive fight. Settle the trades. 3v3 now. CleanX might get caught on the sprint here. No, we do see RCs drop back, so there we go. Bomb still alive and active in the hands of Simp, trying to make its way through that P5 building over towards the B-bomb site, but for now it's just going to be that 2-man hit, slow and steady. Simp's alone here. If he gets dropped, that's going to put the bomb in a precarious position. Now Cell's here to back this one up. Let's see what happens, because again, Ultra, a very thin defensive line chance. A single kill, it could turn the map on its head.
And FaZe are running out of time as well, under 30 seconds. CleanX, he's going to spot all 3 of them, but he forces the gunfight through, and the trades are in. Cellium with the coverage, and that is only a single nade. Doesn't even, well, it does connect actually, but follow-up's not there. The bomb gets planted. You get the trade, but bomb down. Clutch spots available in a 1v2. One poor decision on a gunfight. And now such a difficult spot for Toronto.
Benjamin Bance now having to creep his way towards the bomb site, 30 seconds on it. As FaZe will continue to guess and check corners and put themselves in the highest possible percentage position to get the round win. Bance, he's a noisy boy. The sniper in hand may help, but time is not on his side. This is to put FaZe on map point. Waiting for anything, waiting for something. There's an Arcitys. That's the round. Map point, FaZe.
Yeah, and I think Bance sort of figured out what the game plan was in the 1v2, maybe just a little too light. If no one's peeking from top fire, that means someone in the middle of the map has eyes on it, so Cellium doesn't need to check, and unfortunately just not enough time. Atlanta FaZe playing incredibly well in search and destroy, right? Grouping up for the 4v2s, not making any mistakes, switching up the play calls, and I'd say most importantly, you see how difficult it is to play against them, right? CleanX has one bad decision, trying to get a gunfight in the guy in the middle of the map, exposes himself to Cellium, and a small thing like that, and the round just breaks down.
Yeah, tough. At this level, search and destroy is certainly punishing. Bance, noisy boy. This time, will he check this one? He's about to slither his way right into the kill feed. That's going to be Simp. Prone first and foremost, gets the kill. First blood, Chris Lair. Arcitys can't get it done. Cammy, nice shots. Makes it a 3v3.
You'll take that, and CleanX now maybe starting to make moves.
Oh my God.
He's gotten his way to top church, and FaZe, they're just gonna hit this out and fly, and well, you get the trades in. CleanX tries to make a move, and look at Simp for those easy reads. Gets the first blood, gets a kill on CleanX, and now in the 1v1, fries him. Simp can do whatever he wants.
Man, he had a great tusk, and that search and destroy was a solid one out of FaZe. The opening 3 rounds were completely disgusting, man. And Ultra, there is a concerned look across their faces. Not a lot being said. If you can lip read Ben Bance, rewind that one and tell me what you think he said, because it was not a good scene for the boys there of Toronto Ultra. They go 2-0 down now against Atlanta FaZe. Control is all that remains between them and a 3-0 now chance.
This is just, it's not pretty, right? I mean, we mentioned Simp in the hard point, how he turns up against Toronto. Obviously, the same can be said for the search and destroy, and then funnel it up for the control. It gets even worse. Simp goes from a 1.09, usually overall in control, to a 1.29. It's basically a 1.3 when he's playing against Ultra. He truly returns like his Cold War form, where he just looks like the best player in the game when he is playing against Toronto, and maybe that'd be the case for Gavutu. Funnily enough, Toronto are 4-0 on that map when they're playing against teams that are not named Atlanta FaZe. 0-2 against Atlanta, so I don't know. Definitely looking like Toronto's staring down the barrel of a hot 3-0.
Oh yeah, Atlanta FaZe have turned it on, man. They have got themselves into that incredibly dangerous form. For now, Gavutu Control coming up next. If we do have to go the distance, it's a double dose of Berlin as Chance hides his magic spellbook, although he's clearly a muggle. Used Vanguardium Leviosa in the wrong context. But ladies and gentlemen, that being said, let's go to a quick commercial break. When we return, will it be a 3-0? Let's find out. Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew and Zenny. Armor your eyes with Blocks gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL. Hidely ho, Nebrinos, and welcome back to the Call of Duty League. Toronto Ultra versus Atlanta FaZe, and I tell you what, those boys on the bottom side of your screen are absolutely whooping Ultra so far. FaZe return to form as we now get into our third map of the series, looking to close this one out quickly. And chance, less than half an hour, nearly. Well, just over. They're doing a great job though.
And I mean, just looking at their faces, I have to imagine the comms from Atlanta FaZe this entire series have been, delightful or terrifying, strange. Whatever the case may be, they are having an absolutely good time. Simp is 1.52, not entirely expecting that to slow down at all. Again, on the year, he is a 1.09 KD in control, which for SMGs is absolutely fantastic. He jumps up to a 1.29 when he's playing against Toronto, and well, you can sort of see why. Not shooting back over these first two maps, and I mean, it was Gavutu map 1. We go back to Gavutu here for the map 3, where Toronto 0-2 against Atlanta FaZe, and I don't know, man. It's not looking good. It really isn't.
Well, we can probably hear how they sound at some point. I'm sure we'll do a listening with FaZe, but they are running the show. The last 7 of 8 Gavutu controls have gone their way, so that's plenty. First point to aBeZy, over towards the A side of the map they go, and they are going to dive on this one. The capture has already begun. They're on B at the same time. Atlanta FaZe, they're all over the place.
Yep, and just because aBeZy got the first 2 kills, also worth pointing out, aBeZy ordinarily in control 1.03 overall KD, jumps up to a 1.22 when he's playing against Toronto. Granted, 3 of those 5 controls they've had have been on Tuscan, but it's not looking like Gavutu's going any different.
He's gone, and now aBeZy, the Grim Reaper himself, scything his way across map. Doesn't any more of that. The life comes to a close. Just over 2 minutes to play with 26 lives for FaZe on the attack. Bance, get himself on the board, clean out the boat side of the map. It looks like, no, luck may not be on his side. Will skill, as now he goes to the 1v1 against Cellium. That would have been a sweet fight, but the teamwork's there for FaZe. As Ultra trying to keep them pinned down, keeping away from B.
And Atlanta FaZe truly not in a hurry for the moment. They are slowly working their way up the top side of the map, but that's just to get that ring control. Cammy is here, and I was gonna say, where are the trades coming? aBeZy looked in the wrong direction for a moment, but that is step number 1 of the 3-step process. You have ring control, now you can start making moves. That's one gunfight, but doesn't make the cross any easier. aBeZy does get traded out. But again, right now, FaZe just trying to get their way to the point, and Sim made it home.
Yeah, he does make it on. Cammy trying to find something here, just open up the defense. That's a good shot there onto Arcitys. Cleans up one. Simp now to the backside. Try to get some pressure on before the reinforcements arrive, and here he made a meal of it. He made a real hard run there. Cammy now with ring. Can he keep control? FaZe are there, guns are up. Cellium, he's going to stay alive for now. Here come the reinforcements. FaZe starting to fortify that position at ring. Cammy's got to go big, and this is great. Finds at least one teammate's there to pick it up. Toronto Ultra, stay alive.
Great wins, a nice little 4 spree as well. If I'm Cammy, I am already desperately thinking about those streaks, because it's Gavutu. If you ever want to win an offense, that is the way to get it done, and as long as you have that ring control, you are good to go. Cammy can take his time, bait out his teammates, and stay posted up on a heady if you can. Right now, Ultra have turned this around. They were at a like deficit, now close to even. Only 45 seconds left on the clock, and I think now FaZe actually feeling the pressure.
Yeah, this is great. Ultra's defense is really working out. aBeZy clearing the boat, and he's checked their rig corner, except the right one. Insight's still there, and this could get ugly real fast. But again, time pays off. Teamwork is there once again. Less than 30 now, and aBeZy might be the man who slipped the net and may be able to get another point. Can CleanX catch him on the transition? Yeah, he does. That should be the round. 20 seconds remaining here, chance. FaZe, surely not.
And this has been the look for Cammy for the past, what, like minute and a half. He has stayed ring. He has gone all the way from a 4 spree to a 5, but he has kept that ring control. He is still in contention to make a play. And speaking of plays being made, Arcitys has truly found the opening, has not gotten red. All of his teammates have died, and CleanX there to gun him to bed. But then the worst case scenario for Cammy, you see the heartbreak at the end.
Yeah.
Loses the gunfight in the final second. No glide bomb for Toronto.
I know exactly what you said there. You don't have to be a lip reader to know the frustration there, but that would have been it. Good signs, though, of Ultra. Again, a wonderful start for them. They had a really tough run at A. That was vanished incredibly quickly. They managed to keep themselves all safe and sound towards the B side of the map. Arcitys nearly making that play. We'll see what now happens with Atlanta FaZe on defense. Toronto Ultra now throwing their lives towards A and B.
And I think it was what the most standard round of all time in effect, right? A gets captured, but B, not a single ticket progression. At least I don't think Atlanta got one. So sort of a normal process here for Ultra. Not the worst thing to have to fight into, but maybe aBeZy is one of the worst things to fight into. Another first blood. Granted, a different game though, but then Clean and Chris Protz at a Benjamin Bance. The nade from downtown though to soften him up, and right now still no actual pressure on A, but obviously still plenty of that map control for Toronto.
Yep. Decent kills. We're on to A now at the very least. The slow capture begins. Only one member there on point. It's going to be Cammy. Uh-oh, CleanX shoots a shot. Shoot. Just because it's a miss doesn't mean he didn't try. We'll keep that one going for now, but team members now keeping that capture towards A. Going chance. First segment's done. Slow and steady wins the race.
I don't know. No, definitely not. I was going to say, I'm not sure if they actually know insights back here. So it is a very slow capture over towards A. Not a ton of kills coming through. Both teams keeping things nice and controlled, including Bance with just the read of all time, waiting for the fullest of flanks. So incredibly controlled so far on their attack. And Ultra do the easy part. They capture A, got a 3 life advantage and 2 minutes to work with the capture B. Ring controls the fight. CleanX already wins the first one, so Cellium's got to turn his attention that direction. Ultra worried about the flank over towards Ring as well. And Simp's taken care of, so Ultra, this is it. This is your moment to get the B.
Here we go, baby. They're flying in. Not quite the full stack just yet. 2 members now on point. Nades coming through. They're going to connect. The stuns, watch out. Those little healing nades going to land. Maybe challenge this one for FaZe, but you're keeping it going. Cammy, last man in. You've got coverage from Ring from CleanX. Here comes the pressure. And Simp with a contest, and that spot is huge. Can CleanX stay alive? The answer is sadly nay. Cammy now pressured. Good bit of work. Insight lands a 2-piece. The play's still alive.
Cellium, though, with that big gunfight just to slow things down, and you see what that does. Opens up that ring for someone to pounce it on, and aBeZy, it looks like it's him, right? It has made it behind enemy lines, but he gets rid again. That's the 3rd time Ultra taking care of the flank. And right now, it's just like the ARs from FaZe sort of being the heroes, winning those outside lane gunfights. So a couple of big one gets one, but Ultra still, the front is more or less open. Maybe that door getting closed. aBeZy wins another one, but still the pressure's being poured on. Minute and 10 to work with and a 5 life lead for Toronto.
This is great for Ultra. Can they keep it going though? Here comes the hit now towards the point. Trying to find those picks or 2. Bance has managed to make it through. I can't get anything out of it. Cammy with the trades coming out. CleanX from deep beach, getting shots in, not able to get the kills. Less than a minute now on the clock. 11, now 10 lives for FaZe. Pressure is on, looking for those picks once again, but Cellium, the stalwart of the team right now. The AR is certainly working out for FaZe here on defense. 50 on the clock.
A couple wide chows coming out. Now the Reaper has come to take over Ring, but he does get traded. So Toronto Ultra is still stable, but this is where time really starts to become a factor. Like Atlanta FaZe have slowed the pace down. They have turtled up. They are in a tight setup. So they're down to 7 lives. The game can be won one of 2 ways, but Ultra, this has been such a clean round.
What a battle on point it has been. Oh my word. Arcitys right out of spawn, right into the feed, gets a kill or 2 with a nade. Here comes the pressure. Insight wins a big one. Traded out immediately. No, that was it. There's only 4 lives left now for FaZe, and there are 16 seconds for Ultra to find him.
You got to take a hike. I mean, you have to sprint across this map just to stop the time. You're down to 3, but you're down to 10 seconds.
You gotta go. You gotta fly. CleanX trying to get in there. No, another sweet nade from Arcitys. Final seconds. 3 members of FaZe. Anyone there to possibly get on the point? The answer is no. The kill's not even there either. Ultra, where were you? You had FaZe dead to rights. What a great round for both teams.
And that's, you know, that is honestly probably one of the tougher ones to call who actually has the advantage, because even with the lives dwindling, I mean, once you get down to 40 seconds, it's not like Ultra have an easy job at all. Still great news, though. They got the extra tick over towards B. They do technically have an advantage right now. Obviously, still early in this game, but for that theoretical round 5, just to get the defense. So incredibly solid stuff, and I mean, fantastic reads the entire time, dealing with the flanks both over towards A and the B zone. So that is some crisp and clean gameplay coming out of Toronto Ultra. Now you got to do the easy part, shut him down on defense.
I think I would just like to see a bit more pep in the step of the Ultra boys. It's the confidence that you know what you're doing and you can get it done. You have the skill. FaZe just keep you on the edge of your toes. They are nightmares to deal with at times. In over towards A for a brief moment there before we see the clock still ticking away. Cammy, 12 and 9. Much better performance out of him. Certainly starting to warm up here in the series. Great angle on a cell there. He's in trouble now. Or is he? Another sweet 3 kills there, and Simp, the last man up now for FaZe on this side of the map. He's been cleaned up, and oh my, the trap may be set, chance.
Yeah, talking about having an advantage in the tick department. Already a +1. You shut him down like this. You will be guaranteed for the defense for the round 5. FaZe now actually, you talk about the pressure being on. Stuck in your spawn. No hope of getting out for the moment. I mean, you see Simp worried about every single angle. Granted, the trades are good from him, but so are the trades from Toronto Ultra. The boat still not clear. aBeZy's only made it here with 9 HP, but he needs to stay alive just to draw some attention so his teammates can come and help him out. And aBeZy trying to do his job, but less than 20 now on the clock.
Oh, we're still alive, though, on the point. This actually could work out. FaZe have managed to escape the net. They've dived themselves in here. They're getting the capture slowly done. Where's Ultra to be found? Defenders now holding it down. FaZe keeping the play going. Simp with the 2-piece. Cammy insight kills there. It all comes down to Arcitys. He's got to stay alive. Check a corner. Find something. Is anyone there to stop it? No. Ultra should have the round. Final few seconds. FaZe, a last-ditch attempt to save it here.
Got to get the kills, then you got to stop the clock. Cellium behind a couple. There's the first blood, but Ultra don't even turn. They're focused on the front to make sure they can't get the point. Cellium making moves, but he's here with only 3. You get a couple trades, a player up top, and Toronto Ultra there in insight. The big 3 to take down the round. Toronto Ultra, I mean, I know getting hype over a defense is a little bit strange, but with that level of dominance, massive advantage now. I mean, guaranteed locked-in defense for the round 5, and I mean, maybe on Gavutu, we talked about it, like 0-2 against Atlanta, but Ultra 4-0 against everybody else, so they are strong on this map, and I'd say with the way they played the offense the first go-around, maybe take down them in 3-1 fashion. You never know.
Well, here we go. This is not over yet. Ultra, can they do the unthinkable? Win this, get this offensive round done and close out the map, keep the series rolling. CleanX is absolutely tweaking right now, son. A couple of sweet kills go his way. Pressure now on towards the A side of the map. You've got yourselves numbers. You're onto the point, starting to capture it slowly. You've got Arcitys in your base, though. That could get ugly fast, but we'll see what happens here. 27 lives up now for Ultra on the attack. Arcitys moving clean these players out from behind. He does. Here comes the pinch. This could get bad real quick.
He got to trade him out instantly, and I think it's CleanX that should be. They are still hunting down Arcitys, or they've abandoned him. I don't even know what's going on, but he's somehow been left alive, and obviously he's still a thorn in your side, still a problem. Now should get traded, players slide over a cliff, but even if he doesn't get traded, yeah, Simp's behind enemy lines, and this is just not a fun spot for Toronto Ultra to be in. I mean, right now, it is just an opportunity maybe for Simp. I know he's only on a 3, but there's number 4. Try to get that glide. That is your bailout condition, potentially, for an offensive round.
Yeah, this is big, though. Lives absolutely hemorrhaging right now from Toronto Ultra. 17-24, and they are trapped. Through the cliff they go, and it is it's awful. It's not good. It's aBeZy. As he finally does get brought down. Nice nade out of Bance, but there's Simp. Next man up, 5 spree now for Simp. Keeping the kills going. CleanX is going to be there. Good tags are in, but the man is not to be deterred. Oh my God, he gets another one out of it. That's 6 now in a row. Unbelievable. That's the streaks. That is Simp, and that is disgusting.
The only way you can really lose this next defense is by giving away a glide bomb, and Simp simply finds a way. And now Ultra pump the brakes and sit in their spawn, but you've already messed up. You have made that potentially fatal error. Now, don't get me wrong, even with the glide, Ultra is still with an advantage on defense for the final round, but they have, you know, given an inch, so to speak. We'll see if FaZe can take a mile to round 5 we go.
That was 9 lives for Ultra to the 23 of Atlanta FaZe. What the Frankenstein's monster. Here we go to round 5, chance. What an unbelievable map this has been.
Doctor in action. I mean, this is the entire setup, and it's going to be a B hit straight off the rip. I think maybe you played the opening gunfights. If they even partially go your way, you calling that glide instantly.
Here we go. Over towards the B side of the map we go. Heavy man, stack now. Let's see what you got, FaZe. Let's go for a listening.
Someone's ring back. Two top.
He's a fucking...
Okay, guy for top ring. CleanX, jump mid.
Top ring, I'm getting shot.
On mid, yes.
I'm trying to look top ring. It is top ring, guys, holding.
I think one's gonna be... I have you. He's doing mid, sir. I'm watching.
It is top ring.
Running up.
Go.
Top ring, go. Top one shot. Keep us.
He's going, we're good.
I can't. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna strict in here then. Okay.
Yeah, just wait.
I'm B. Running close.
Two rings.
Go in now. I'm going. I
think he's our top. I'm watching.
I'm going.
Yeah, get top out. Get top out.
Play him live.
Go.
How many top out, Alec? I'm
Okay.
I mid on pinch.
Okay, they can be their whole.
Top out, that is.
I see. I'm mid on
top out.
pinch. Three now.
There you.
Shoot me from RB.
There we go.
There you.
I missed though.
Charlotte P5.
I'm talking. Watch out. Did he top ring?
I see top ring inside.
I'm Charlotte P5 still.
Watch your pitch if you watch your pitch.
Yeah, be mentioned.
You honestly think
You
I can't.
You're just sitting there.
I'm
I'll see him. Yeah, charge.
Don't watch mid still.
I'll see him. Get the U-tank.
Don't get
Watch out the U-tank. Watch out.
I'm mid.
You taking top
I'm
right?
Top ring. Give me mid.
I'm no.
You want tower? Yes, tower.
I'm looking tower.
Yeah, there's got top ring. Almost top ring too.
He's in our base game, says,
There's
but
got top ring. I think Ben was top ring.
You do this. That guy does. You do this right now.
Ben is top ring.
He's U-bow. I gotta go back up.
Dead.
Okay,
I'll see
He's got a big rock.
I'm trying to tank.
Is he our spawn?
Yeah,
Where's he at?
Ring. That's him.
I'm trying to go
I'm
ring.
on low.
He's in the ring.
There's other bad guys here.
Running in a ring. Inside here. Weak outer. I sent him out of ring.
I got one top ring.
I'm
Good
I'm freaking. In a ring. Last guy, CleanX. In a ring and on B.
Yeah, I'm training. Wait.
Still there.
Watch ring.
Next one shot ring.
Make sure you step too. You step.
Trying to get ring.
Outer ring.
Stand up. One weak. I love it.
Inside ring.
And
They're all you. They're all like you.
I got
three.
I'm killing.
Don't play kills. I have your pin.
They named me.
Dog on deep.
They missed the
I'm playing. One shot.
Top ring.
Wall man.
Short Ben.
Stay down.
In the back.
Yeah, you. Okay,
Let's get deep.
I'm looking deep.
I'm trying to be.
And this is one of the most spectacular displays we have seen on Gavutu Control. Atlanta FaZe are playing with their hearts out.
Yeah, Kobe's from up top though. Cammy, at least you gotta kill Simp. Thank you. That is the player to slow down the nades and a couple big kills out of Cammy just to stabilize. But 14 versus 6. And you're flanking and you're going through boat. You don't have the lives to make plays like that. Now, two ways Atlanta are going to try to win this game. I don't know which it's going to be, but I know they're going to do it, Miles.
They're going to bleed him out, or they're going to get the point. aBeZy's already on the point. Coverage there. Cammy and Bance getting the kills. 5-12 now. If Ultra can win this one, truly attests to the mental resolve and the mind games that they have been dealt with. And Bance, the man to try to make it happen. Insight and Cammy onto the point. Trays are there. FaZe starting to fall to pieces. It is not quite over yet, as FaZe are backed on up, worried about the trap now. There is 25 on the clock, and this ain't over yet.
Both these teams sweating for this win, but now sort of how the tides turn. FaZe got to take a hike across the map, go for that ring control. They both win their ones. There's the opening, no respawns remaining, but only 12 seconds to get to the point, and it is CleanX, last man standing.
It's got to be CleanX, finds at least one big shot, and the second player is now making their way forward. Simp onto the point, here comes the fight, and it's a big win from Simp once again. 1v8, there is no hope in hell. Cammy, you got to do something special, son. Here we go, as the shots are there, the capture is on, the contest, and it's done. Holy Atlanta FaZe, what a round of control.
It's Simp, again, one of the best players, if not the best player in the world. It is not a game where SMGs can often shine, especially on the map like Gavutu. But against Toronto Ultra, and certainly right there, Simp just reminding everyone that needed to, which is literally nobody. We just expect it from him. Godlike performance on that map. I mean, I think he was, -2 or -3 going into their, final round of defense. What does he do? Goes on a crazy spree, absolutely pieces him up, gets the glide bomb just for that offensive round. And funnily enough, uses the glide bomb in a situation where I don't even think it was that strong of a moment. They didn't have ring control. And what does Simp do? Flanks through ring, pushing from Toronto's own side, pieces him up with the pistol, lights up the 3-man feed, and completely blows him out of the water to get that opening. I mean, 4K damage out of him, 34 kills, and not just for the glide bomb, not just for the big 3 pieces, but also the gunfight against CleanX when he is the only man on point stopping the clock. Also the most important gunfight of the entire map. So, I mean, just electric stuff out of Simp. And if I'm Ultra, I mean, you're having daymares about the tears at this point.
You think you're safe. You think they can only get you when you're asleep. No, they are here, man. Freddy Krueger got nothing on these boys. Terrifying stuff. Atlanta FaZe, with one of the more dominant performances we have seen out of them in the qualifiers. It's starting to get real scary. That first round was brilliant out of Ultra. Keeping it all together, the defensive rounds were good, but FaZe just turned it on, and that man Simp, unbelievable. We will go back over that one. He truly is one of the greatest to ever do it. And again, it wasn't a bad matchup whatsoever between Ultra and FaZe. I mean, these two teams, what an incredible rivalry they've had, chance, over the last season, over this season as well. Some iconic moments, but right now, man, FaZe have just got the edge in nearly every department.
It's just, poor Toronto Ultra. You're losing in hellish ways. You have an offensive round where almost the exact same thing like Atlanta had in the final. You have the man advantage, you have ticks in progress over towards B, but just time is not on your side. So you lose a tragic offensive round like that. You lose in two tragic rounds effectively towards the end as well. It is just, hellish situations to fall and lose against Atlanta FaZe, and it's just how this matchup has always gone. And I feel for Toronto, and I think on the flip side, when we're talking about the maps coming through, Atlanta expanding the map pool, the Berlin hardpoint gets in the series to map 4. I bet the coaches on Atlanta FaZe are just chuckling themselves. They're we're not getting that far in the series. It doesn't matter. It'll be a 3-0 because that's just how it goes, man. Atlanta FaZe looking good.
Looking very, very good. Wow, FaZe stocks on the rise. And again, they do this to us. They tease us, they toy with us. And then when it comes to a major, they get second place. But they are truly working through all those weaknesses, and they are starting to look very dangerous indeed. Desk, lads, wow, right?
Impressive.
Damn.
Impressive. No, that was absolutely insane. And actually, the map count for Atlanta FaZe versus Toronto Ultra this year alone, this is despite them having a big rivalry last year, right? It's now 18-6 in favor of Atlanta. They dominated and won all 3 maps, which was their auto vetoes. And yeah, Toronto, they were disposed of easily, man.
Yeah, that was a tough match for the Toronto Ultra. FaZe just looked terrifying.
Yeah.
That Gavutu, we saw the P4 holds just so strong. They had a lead throughout the entire game. Really didn't look like they were in potential to lose that at all. And then in Search and Destroy right off the bat, first of all, they're playing Toronto on one of their best Search and Destroy maps, their second best one, actually. And they go at the B-bomb site right away, just charge through. I call that playstyle the disrespect playstyle. That's literally how FaZe got so good at S&D, that's how they played. They would just run at you, win their gunnies, and set up the map for the rest of the game there. And that's what they did. They go B off the rip there. And then on offense, you saw Toronto tried to adjust to it. There was nothing that they could do, right? Because they didn't know if FaZe was going to be instantly pushing through P5 or if they were going to rat back towards mid. We saw multiple times they had Arcitys up top window. They'd rat back towards mid. They'd get that bomb down. It was beautifully played by Atlanta FaZe, and that's what we've been looking for in the Search and Destroy.
Yeah.
But then also, we got to talk about that control there.
Please.
Those last 2 rounds were just amazing. They get control, pushed them all the way back in their spawn, and the problem with Toronto Ultra is they throw no utility over to try to kill him off a cliff. And they let him get those streaks, and essentially that's what lost them the game.
Yeah, that spawn trap was absolutely crazy. But for me, I thought the series was over once we saw hardpoint happen. Off the rip, Simp went absolutely crazy. By the time we got to P2, I believe Simp was 7-1. Atlanta FaZe were up by 50 points. They dominated them. That Search and Destroy, the Wolfpack mentality that we saw in that last round to destroy Insight when you had the bomb. You leave the 1v1 up to Simp, who's flying still for the second map in the series. He wins the 1v1 easily, and Atlanta FaZe just made it look like it was just another Friday in the office, so shout out to them. But in regards to Toronto Ultra, even though they're kind of in the race for the points and whatnot, this loss right here doesn't scare us just yet, right?
It scares me a little bit.
Just a little bit?
For the fact of this is a team that we thought was on the up and up, right? This is the Toronto Ultra team that was getting better. At hardpoint, they had a good run at their major, but now they've taken some big losses. They lose to the London Royal Ravens, that's an unacceptable loss to a team that just made a roster change once again, and then you follow it up in this match versus FaZe. We're looking at Toronto they're a championship contender after last
what's
major.
going on?
But they get 3-0'd in this series and lose some of their better maps, especially that Tuscan Search and Destroy in a 6-2 fashion. For Toronto Ultra, the subs need to come correct. They need to play a bit better. The chemistry doesn't seem like it's there. In the listen, the communication was on point. At least there's that. But, just some of these rotations that they're throwing away. They didn't prioritize P4 both times on both rotations, which is obviously an issue as we know how good Atlanta FaZe is when it comes to that hill.
Right, and also let's talk to Atlanta FaZe about how this series went for them as we have RC's here with a Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Yo, RC's, congrats on the big win, man. My question to you, so far in Search and Destroy, you guys are 18-2, you're dominating. What has changed recently with you guys in this roster? Because
you want to be honest? I put the sub away. Holy I don't know what's going with that. They said, Chris said, yo, I'll give you the sniper. I said, dude, let me do my thing. I'll play like a little island roll, a little piece up here and there. I don't have to run straight at them and get shit on. I meant, pooped on.
Well, it's working, Alec. You looked absolutely unreal out there, especially on that game one. I want to ask you about the map vetoes in this series. I see you guys got rid of Tuscan Hardpoint. You go into this, you're going to play at Berlin. You're playing, Toronto on their 2 best search and destroys. Were you guys just confident in this matchup and that you were going to get the win, that you're like, okay, let's test out some maps?
I mean, those are great guys. They're a really good team. But Veli said something about map count. We know the map count. We're trying different maps. We want to get Tuscan out of there, get a little Berlin action, but unfortunately, we didn't make it there. So, or they didn't make it there. Sorry.
Well, fortunately.
Yeah. Big time. All right, RC,
we love COD.
Oh, definitely. Congrats on the big win once again. What do you got to say to the Atlanta FaZe supporters out there? And yeah, can't wait to see you next time, man.
I mean, you saw the S&D. Our team chemistry's on point with the Tyler defusing the bomb. So, just keep phasing up. We'll try to get one. We're silver service for now, but even Preston, he got silver serve. But we're trying.
Yes, all right, RCs, man, you take it easy. We'll talk to you later. And yeah, I can't wait to see what FaZe does at Major IV and Champs, all right? You have a good one.
Bye.
Adios. All right,
I love what he says. He's like, I put the sub away. It's like, I can't be running around with SMG. And it's hilarious when you look at this team to think like Arcitys was pulling out a sub at S&D at times. Like, look at this roster.
This guy does everything, right? Let's take a look at the Scump play of the game. It's going to be the Search and Destroy where Atlanta FaZe, they've turned a new leaf, man. These guys are unstoppable.
Oh, man, we should have clipped it from the beginning of the round. We saw what Toronto tried to do. They actually had 2 players like relatively close to this bomb site, and FaZe just runs out, just challenges them, wins the first 2 gunfights, and they just get instant control of the map at that point. Like, these guys, when they play like that, when they're so aggressive to the point where they're just in your face, they have so much talent, they're gonna win their gunfights. It's gonna fluster you, especially when they play like that early game, because then it feels like, okay, we can't leave anything open from the start of the round. We almost have to play like that default or try to blind counter them and, put you in a tough spot when you're trying to game plan against these guys.
And then they toy with him at the end. Shout out to Miles and Champs for this one, man. But Atlanta FaZe, they're banging people out. 6-0, 6-0 against LA, and then a 6-2 right here against Toronto Ultra. But yeah, that's for the first series of the day, man. Any thoughts before we close this out?
Like I said, it's a terrifying time for most of the teams here in the CDL. FaZe continues to play like that in Search and Destroy. I'm excited to see their development. I'd love to see that Seattle and FaZe game once again.
I'm telling you now, I would not want to go against Atlanta FaZe out of all the teams that are in the league, but also shout out to the Atlanta FaZe for getting a big win against a surging team like Toronto Ultra, right? We saw the run that they had at their own major, but here in this qualifier heading to Brooklyn, Atlanta FaZe is saying, all right, this league belongs to us now. But coming up next is going to be a really important matchup as Minnesota Røkkr, a team that's on a bubble, can get in top 8 with this win over the London Royal Ravens. We'll catch you guys there.
Duty League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can. And upgrade your game with a Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Zenny. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming classes starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL.
Of players here. Peekaboo, I've been here the whole time.
The North. In the darkness, a prophecy is told. Four warriors. Confronting them like challenging the winter itself. The snow that blinds you gives them strength. And the ice belongs to them. Prepare yourself for a cold wind blows.
Ladies and gentlemen, all of you beautiful people, welcome back to the Call of Duty League, where we just got off of a series where Atlanta FaZe made it look easy against the Toronto Ultra. And I just want to throw these stats out there for Simp. Definitely the player of the game in that series right there. He ended the series with a 1.4, a 1.8, and then a 1.48. That is disgusting. Simp is on something special, but for this series right here, it's going to be so important, okay? It's going to be the Minnesota Røkkr versus the London Royal Ravens. My name is Veli. This is Nameless, and Nameless, this is the most important game of the day, simply because of the way the points look and where Minnesota stands.
Absolutely. If Minnesota win this game, it puts them currently in the top 8 with a win here. And then for the Royal Ravens, like, it's not guaranteed. I am not league ops, but I would presume if they get to 170, they're in a really good spot to qualify for champs. So this match, major implications for London Royal Ravens. If they shut down a team that's on that bubble, it makes it that much easier for them. And for the Minnesota Røkkr, a massive, almost must win for them as well. If you look at their remaining schedule, they need to win this to potentially end and get into that winner's bracket, where you want to have that extra buff when you get to that major, so you can make a run and get additional points. So a massive game all around. These guys are going to bring their A game today. This should be a good match.
Nameless, you're going to want to be comfortable, man. And when it comes to the Minnesota Røkkr, that 5-game winning streak that they had last stage was amazing. But this stage, they're going to have to try to pull off something similar. But taking a look at the maps and modes right now, we'll kick things off on Tuscan, Desert Siege, and Tuscan. I like this for this matchup.
Yeah, you know, I look at the hard points, and it's like, listen, I would say London, I think, have like the better odds in the hard point. But I was looking at Røkkr in their last like 4 matches. Every single hard point that they've had has been like a 30-point or less differential. Whether they won or lost, they have lost a majority of those. But it has just been stressful, like gruelers towards the end of these games for the Røkkr. If they can just make one better decision towards the end, get that final rotation, we might be talking about Røkkr in a completely different light here. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a good map set overall. I think for London Royal Ravens, they need to close it out before it gets to game 5, as they are 0-3 on that map.
Right, and last time we saw Minnesota on this main screen, they went against the Florida Mutineers, where Major Maniac had his way with his team, right? But when it comes to Minnesota, they want to answer back, and these guys definitely like to fight back for their wins, right? My eyes are going to be on Attach, though, because even though Attach has had a phenomenal stage last stage as a main AR for this team, he's going against Zero, and Zero has been doing the exact same thing. But when it comes to the game field keys to victory, though, I'm really hoping Minnesota gets off on the right foot. They're going to need Attach to bounce back. He had a .99 KD last week and a 1.21 during stage 3. That's exactly what I was talking about. It was Zero honing in on the hard points like he is recently. We're gonna need that prime Attach, baby. But last but not least, the first blood battle is critical versus London on Desert Siege. London converts 93% of their first blood situations on Siege, which is first.
Yeah, we just saw them play that versus Toronto, where they get a 6-5 victory. We saw they like to play it, like to take mid-map control. They were isolating players like CleanX, really frustrating him early on into the game. But, you know, towards the middle half, Toronto made some good adjustments. So the VOD is there for Minnesota Røkkr to look at. This is also a map that Minnesota Røkkr is very good at. They're 5-1 on Desert Siege, so they're comfortable. So this should be an absolute battle when it gets to that game, too.
Right, when it comes to the London Royal Ravens, I really hope that they watch the VOD, because the last time the Røkkr were on screen, London could have learned a lot, right? But when it comes to this team, I mean, we have to say it outright. Zero was phenomenal, and the performances that he had on both hard points last weekend were incredible. I believe it was like, what, a 2.0, and he opened up the way for his teammates.
You know, 1.6, dude. He was going crazy in that game. Yeah, I mean, Zero's definitely a player to look out for here. You know, with the London Royal Ravens going up against the Minnesota Røkkr, very much they play textbook, right? If they're not in the hill and they're trying to play that slow pinch, you know there's going to be a player like Havok behind you, right? You can kind of dissect when there's something unusual going on. So for them, it's just communication's going to have to be on point. But, you know, for the game field keys to victory, I'm looking at this London Royal Ravens team, and it's a prove it series after the win versus Ultra with Gizmo back. London is 3rd in map win percentage this season with Gizmo. So when he's on the team, there's just a different swagger to it. They're comfortable, they're making plays, and we saw it in that last series. And then you can't just rely on Zero to carry the slaying again. Zero 1.58 KD versus Ultra last week, Afro 0.95, Gizmo 0.91. Honestly, though, I think everybody played great, especially Nasty had some really big, you know, triple, double kills when they were on rotation, namely that P4 train when he was in the back. It was Nasty who was picking up the kills, although Zero was still making the play on the rotation.
Nasty was definitely an opportunist there, but hey, let's see if the Ravens could be opportunists here as well. Send us over to Bryson 10, fellas, take it away.
Thank you very much. Yes, let's get right into this game. Of course, London versus Minnesota. A lot of interesting things kind of breaking out of this one, of course. London looking to stop what some people thought might have been a backslide, a rebuild here for the Ravens. Maybe it should be a Phoenix with the return of Gizmo. On the other side of it, Minnesota Ton, they are in some serious trouble. They need another good split here. They need these 10 points to get them into top 8.
They absolutely do. Whereas for Ravens, as we've already said on the desk, it is one of those games that can put them not quite out of sight from the rest of the teams, but it puts them in such a good spot. A massive, massive game in the general implications of who is going to champs. And it's a strange old map set. We had a little look through it. It can kind of lean one way towards the rear end of it. If we do get towards maps 4 and 5, you'd look maybe a little bit further towards Røkkr, especially map number 5. But London Royal Ravens, these first 3-4 maps are very, very doable for them. It's not the best of starts when Standy's doing things like this. 5 in a row from him. Røkkr locked down P1. It's a fantastic start from the Minnesota side.
Unbelievable. Standy now playing for streaks just off P1 alone, and you can see London trying to make sure they don't get every single point from this one. That's a huge shutdown from Nasty in the end. And I'm going to ask you this question as well. One of the big stories coming out of last week about London has to be about Zero. Unbelievable performances on the 2 hard points we saw him going off on. Is that going to be a consistent thing, and what do London do if it's not?
Well, that's the thing. You look at this London side and sort of say to yourself, okay, they have the guys in there to put up those numbers. If you were to pick anybody on that side who's going to put up the most, Zero would probably, typically on paper, be the last that you would say. But, I mean, he's going to have to do some good work here. You can see the stack coming in from Minnesota. There's the first one on the book. Can he find a second here with the help of his teammates? Good shots onto Priestahh. That's sort of stemmed the flow of Røkkr players that have found on through, but Standy finds himself around behind, finds a second. He is the guy for Minnesota so far. They break it perfectly. London towards the back. Minnesota Røkkr driving seat at the moment.
Yes, Standy just shutting it down a little bit, but eventually that back alley was open, and Nasty's going to get a second kill with that grenade as London look to try and convert all of these points as they can. They do have numbers now. You can see them flood in eventually, and Nasty goes from the high rope and takes him down. The rotation is going to come in. London will be in the lead, but can they break this early?
Sort of little observation that we had actually on the desk there as well, heading in towards this third hills. This game's very, very close. The last 3 times that Minnesota Røkkr have played this match, they've lost, the last 3, average of 3 to 4 points they've lost.
It's absolutely nothing. Over the last 3 defeats, it's only been 11 points difference between them and the 3 teams they went up against. It's absolutely crazy. Every single game we see from Røkkr here on this map is so close. And we're seeing a little bit of an example of that to kick things off. Priestahh in a good spot here in mid-map, and it's going to get shut down by Gizmo, but Minnesota Røkkr have dug their heels in. Very good at locking down hills on this map. When they do get those rotations, they have it right now at P3.
Yeah, this hill can get a little bit crazy. And at the moment, it's taken London a long time to get in here, and they're holding it down well. But Gizmo gets that first pick here. Attach is now going to come under pressure. He knows players are going to be pushing him, but his teammates are still holding the angles he needs to just keep his sight lines open enough. Nasty's going to come through eventually through fire, and Attach still alive at the back. Hasn't really been made that relevant as they are not challenging him. Eventually, they have to hit the hammer, and Attach will get 2 and lock that one down.
And I mean, our stats are really just coming up and proving to be correct here. We had a look towards the beginning of the series as well. London, the worst team in the game at P3 when it comes down to Tuscan. And, well, that's the first time we're going to see a decent lead for the side of Røkkr. 30 points now, but this rotation comes in for the Ravens. It's been very rotational heavy from these teams. Of course, that's something you will see on Hotpoint, but these rotations have been locked in. They've been steady, but the rest of the teams coming on through. The players from Røkkr here getting their way into Church. Afro will find 2. Havok finds a break on through, and it's just far too easy for the Røkkr to find themselves inside. Only 0 towards the back who can pinch it.
Trying to stay alive and eventually will go down as Gizmo gets another clean come through. It will be London who take control of this now, and Gizmo just continuing to open up the back here. This has been the player that a lot of London fans are hoping will reignite this roster into their previous form at the start of the year. You can see London just desperately scraping for every point they can, eventually losing it as the kills don't go their way, and Afro has to play his life with 36. Eventually coming through, but doesn't need to. 0 here, but rotation again to Røkkr ton.
Yep. Very clean rotations, as mentioned. Røkkr, very much the ones who have been doing the better job of that, I would say. And P5 is a good one for them. Best team on the game in terms of points accumulated on this hill at this moment in time. You can see the setup that they got. Somebody over towards the P2 side, ready for the push to come through radio. But look at the stack coming in here from London. Break might come in a second.
Well, they're trying to get through into this eventually, and it's always difficult here at P5. And Zero now coming through. We know there's one last Røkkr player left at the bottom here, and he's going to be taken down easily by Nasty in the end. Gizmo pushing out the same way. And it is going to be London's hill at the moment. Reinforcements will be incoming. Minnesota taking this a little bit slow as they try to get enough bodies in here to make this push work.
0, 2 kills to his neighbors. A very late flank that came on through. 2 kills will all he will get. Can the rest of the team maybe do something here as Gizmo will then fall? London Royal Ravens seemingly broken back here, but to be honest, considering the rotation was there for Røkkr, London have not done too badly. Standy attached inside the point, Standy and attached dead. Rotation over towards P1, starting to come through with only a few seconds remaining over towards the final hill of that first rotation. And it's Gizmo first here. So Ravens were behind around 30 or 40 points at one stage during that first set of hills. They brought it right back with a decent hold over towards P5 there, find themselves in the lead.
You can see this is the setup. Instead of Røkkr trying to go for this pinch, you can see them try to swing through you here. Standy gets 1. He's going to look for the train. He's going to find 2 as well. They looked the wrong direction, and Gizmo took full advantage of it. And then look to lock this in even harder. You can see all of Minnesota are a little bit coy about pushing this. They don't have map control. They know there is an awful lot of chest high cover to get through. Nuts just going to try and hold down mid a bit here and somehow get Standy as well. And Minnesota are about to be flanked. They are not getting near P1. It's all going to be about P2 for them.
And Minnesota, I mean, they kind of just give that up early. You see the rotation coming in from Havok. He's not really expecting but 2-3 teammates to be able to break what was a really nice hold over towards that P1 side from London, who get every single point over towards that first hill. Now we're heading over towards P2. The Røkkr heels are dug in. Can they lock this in, Bryce?
Let's find out with the London listening.
Hey, I'm looking down. Let me know your flat. Ready?
Charlie now.
Nothing blue flat. Standy weak. Nice, touch his flat. Nice, bro. Stay alive. Stay alive. Came close. Have back then. Nice, have your up. If you want, Brian.
Yeah, I'm pushing.
Let me run. Back right. Nice, so you close to street, Brian. You close to street.
No, I'm trying to run back. You got my elbow.
Yeah, one's cross.
One shot.
Have.
There's 2 of them, okay?
I have your round. Close, Charles. Close.
Respond in. You're gonna be front in your front now.
Nice, one more. There's one more. Listen, this is big scrap. I'm trying to top first. I'm trying to top first. Leave me.
Yeah.
Comes down. Slow comes down. I'm going right.
Yes. Take our time.
Top five. Priestahh. He's on.
Marcus, just clear maps and wait for you.
Yeah, I'm win, bro. Alright, listen. Go right with me here, Trey. If you can. You want to go right? Yeah.
No, you should go middle.
He's on.
Okay.
I'm left right now. You can obviously jump out the window and go 5 if you want, bro.
Hold on.
Oh, he's far left. Hold on the window. On the chimney.
Attach must have backed up.
One shot Standy tiles.
One, stop fire.
And then
Someone take a longer. We have 70 seconds. Stop fire.
In him.
I've done him in time.
I'm nearly fire.
Give me some love.
Fire, one shot.
Don't make noise.
Back Eddie. Back all the way up. Attach on the back Eddie.
Standy, that's
right. Listen, he's behind the fountain. There wasn't a back Eddie. He's behind the fountain watching fire. Behind the fountain watching fire. Push up. I need. Back Eddie. Turn around and watch your pink fire. Turn around and watch your fire. Back Eddie. Don't in charge. I got it now.
Let's touch
is on the free.
See, line down. Nice, good kill.
I'm
going fire.
Back Eddie, one shot. I'll get you close.
I'm shouting him now.
Touch one shot. Back Eddie. I'm leaving it.
Go leave me. You guys spawn out.
I'm going for 3-1. They're already going to be new markets.
They're not mobs. Yeah. Come.
Well, usually at this point I make some comment about the comms, but I'm not going to. I need to talk about Nasty. Unbelievable plays during that listening, and London are on the cusp of winning this game, Ton.
Dude's going off. I mean, we've seen a complete team wipe coming in from him over towards the P2 break. Over towards P3, he's the one that eventually breaks it open for around 20 seconds of time that Røkkr really did need. Rotation over towards Church, though. Did belong to Røkkr, but doesn't for very long. Zero Gizmo find a way through. It's just clean cut from the team that was so good at breaking hills at the beginning of the game. We're seeing echoes of that once more. Fantastic stuff from London. They attack from a few different angles, and we're so good over towards P5, which we're going to be going towards in 20 seconds' time. London are about that away from the win.
They are, and they're looking to get back into this Church control, and you know the same old story. Røkkr have to fight for this scrap time. They really don't want to get them too close. They can't win here, though, and we will see them off to the races in a few seconds. But it's P5. Whichever team gets in here first could have a huge hold. Zero already waiting for this one. Røkkr have their reinforcements streaming in, but London are in first. The nades are going to rain, and so are the bodies. Here they come. Minnesota have to break, and they're just diving into this point looking for it, but Nasty again with a two-piece. And Priestahh, and Gizmo, and Zero, and Gizmo again, and that's going to be the final nail in the coffin, as Gizmo ends up winning out the trades for London, and they take map number 1.
Lovely performance from the London Royal Ravens. The first one, 4/5 of that first rotation were not fantastic. It seemed like Røkkr was starting to stretch their legs, but as soon as that P1 hold comes through from Ravens, it is all the London side from then. Fantastic stuff, and it was the breaks, it was the holds. Very, very well played on hardpoint. And that's a big win to take. Røkkr have had so many teams close on this map. No cigar this time either, but a comfortable win for the Ravens. And we asked if Zero's going to slow down, what's going to happen? Well, Nasty's going to take over instead. 26 and 20 from him. And I don't think we can undermine that enough because of the fact that so many of those kills were huge. That 4-piece over towards P2, no bigger than them. Fantastic work from him. Fantastic work by the Royal Ravens. They take a 1-0 lead.
They certainly do. A lot of time we've talked about Attach being the mainstay of this Røkkr. And not that game, and some of that has to be attributed to the fact that things like the P3 hold, right? Like, he was kind of irrelevant, not because he was in a bad position, but because of the way Minnesota were pushing that hill out. Usually Attach would have a lot more opportunities to engage, but if you can't get into that position, it's just not going to happen. And that's what happened to Attach. Positioning wasn't there for him just because of circumstance a lot of the time. It doesn't excuse it, though, when your team needs that slaying to come through. And unfortunately, it does mean Minnesota Røkkr are going to fall in this first hard point. And again, I have to remind you, you're going to hear me go on about this. Røkkr are in a desperate, desperate fight to make champs. Every single point they can grab in these qualifiers will help them out when it comes to the major.
And honestly, I was just speaking about that in terms of the turnaround for London specifically. That P5 rotation, I kind of spoke to you about it during the listening, and this was phenomenal from Nasty, which, again, that fourth one, sorry, kind of gets handed on a plate with the trade that comes on through. Fantastic work nonetheless, but the P5 hold over towards the end of P1 was so well worked. Zero was still alive from over towards P4. They started rotating a little bit late. The rest of the team, though, spawning out because of the push that came through from Røkkr towards P4. So they had tiles control, but Zero staying alive radio side was crucial to the break that they found. London then slowly push forward, send everything towards the front, and Zero can peek ground, find 2 from behind, and all of a sudden London break that, and they do not slow down from there. 250 to 187 is a nice comfortable win on map number 1.
It certainly is. And one more thing I kind of want to bring up about that is, I made the comment, all right? I said normally I talk about the comms when we come back out of them. I didn't have an opportunity, but now the game has ended. I can. Got to hear out, obviously, for some people at home, those comms, they fire, they're fast, they're furious. You kind of always hear what's going on. One thing I did hear was Zero over and over again commanding his team, reminding them for the fire pinch, for what they need to do next, taking that leader role to push his team where he needs them to be. Individual performances aside, it's always crucial when you can hear a team like that essentially moving chess pieces around the board to give them the best possible opportunity in the next position.
Absolutely. I mean, Zero's been a mainstay of the CDL for quite some time. He is one of the most veteran-style players that we have still left in the CDL. He's been around for such a long time with 3 really new players, has to be said. Of course, Gizmo and Nasty, for the most part, it is their first season, or full first season. Afro in there as well. These guys are not very well nuanced in the big game, if you like. Yes, okay, they've been around Call of Duty for a long time, but having somebody like Zero just to calm it down is always going to help out these 3 other boys on the squad who are doing a stellar job for the London Royal Ravens at this moment in time. We had that dip during the mid-season. We questioned what was going on. Of course, Gizmo, whatever was going on with him, he seems to be in a bit of a better headspace now. The team firing on all cylinders at the moment, and honestly caught me by surprise against Toronto. They really did. I would have thought it would have taken a little bit of time for Gizmo to maybe get implemented once again. The game has changed quite a bit since he was in this Royal Ravens roster way back when. Things seem to be up and running quite quickly though, Brycey. This could be a fantastic start if they can find a 2-0 start to their regular season. It will be a fantastic way to get yourselves all the way over towards New York. Winners bracket is on the cards.
It certainly is. Still, and I have to kind of bring down the vibe just a little bit here at this point. I'm still looking to try and benchmark this rejuvenated London Royal Ravens team. And the reason for that is against Ultra, yes, we had massive plays out of Zero, and they took down Ultra, a team that they didn't think they would beat. Coming into this one, obviously Minnesota also having a bad time themselves. For me, coming in, this was basically always going to be London. I think I want to see them against some of the other teams in the league. That's when I can kind of figure out where this team has got themselves back to. Play against the likes of FaZe, play against the likes of Seattle, and see what comes of it in the end. Because this could be terrifying. If London Royal Ravens have decided to hit form at this part of the year like they were at the beginning of the year, you remember those statistics back then, the #1 break team, their hardpoint record was pretty ridiculous. They were very heavy slay-wise, almost like a honeymoon return to form for this squad. And while that is an awful lot of praise for them, I am still curious about how real that is and where they are going to go with it.
Let's see how they do on Desert Siege, Search and Destroy. Good game from Nasty and map #1 on Tuscan Hardpoint. All eyes over towards the Search and Destroy. Very close map between these two is what we're expecting. And all 4 of the last 4 games that London Royal Ravens have played on Desert Siege, they have went to round 11. They went to round 11, 5 of the last 6 Search and Destroys. They do not do things simply. They do not smoke teams on Search and Destroy. It is close. But nonetheless, let's see if they can get something done. 4v3 situations are good for them, and well, they have one of them. Oh my goodness me! Gizmo through the middle of Paulehx. We've seen it last week. He was the one who made the players in round 11. He's making them a round #1 here against Røkkr.
Oh, he's still attached, and he was going to go for the reach out, and a tiny bit of wood blocked his vision. Nasty, just giving Priestahh a little love tap. Eventually moves away with it as well, but Gizmo gets another one, and Zero locks that round down already. That's 3 for Gizmo off the rip. And that's a justified grin on Gizmo's face. That was a very aggressive push into Paulehx and getting the 2-piece as well.
Getting 1 kill there is fine, but that's got to be traded, right? Those situations, you're on the defensive side, you'd like to see your teammate be able to trade that one out. Of course, we didn't quite see the full spec of it, if you like, but nonetheless, a fantastic start for the Ravens. Puts them in the driving seat pretty much immediately. And he really was the one. I mean, look, he had a solid game last week, but the ace in round 11, just certain moments here and there. Just to make small impacts at the right time to do the business for your team. Nonetheless here, though, over towards A for the side of Røkkr. Royal Ravens ready and waiting. Afro first blood.
Now, can they convert this once again at the moment? Minnesota sitting pretty, some of them on little lamps, but they are now looking to get back into this. They need that kill back to give them a little opportunity to push into this one. Attach already taking a little bit of damage. And both teams holding their breath, waiting to see who blinks first. On the moment, London with the kill advantage. Not moving, and well, Priestahh moves into the eyesight of Gizmo. Fantastically done. Oh, Standy could have done with that kill. Can't quite solidify it. Gets it away with 10 HP in the dream, but he is currently the only one left on his squad. 1 versus 4 for Standy. Not enough time to do it here either. Brycey, another good hold coming on through. London. Solid rounds here so far. They haven't been close whatsoever. Ravens 2-0 up in convincing fashion as well. Well, I tell you something. A lot of patience coming out of London then. Most teams would send somebody on the flank or figure out exactly where they needed to put their pieces to take advantage of that first blood. They held their position. Minnesota were looking for it. You could see it over and over again. They were trying to find the right pig to get a kill back. London didn't give them anything. And speaking of giving them nothing, Gizmo is 6-0. The rest of Røkkr do not have a kill 2 rounds into this.
Yeah, 3 kills in each of the first 2 starting rounds from Gizmo. Starting off where he left on the previous Desert Siege map. There's another first blood though from Zero, and as mentioned, 93% of those are getting converted to round wins for the London Royal Ravens so far. Although that might just be against it here on that statistic front. 2 versus 3 now as Røkkr show somewhat signs of life.
I think he'll try and make a bit of a difference here. We can see Standy. I don't know if he can. And he can't, but Standy can see Nasty there on the end. And Gizmo now coming in an awful lot of pressure. Eventually he's going to get that glide bomb as well, Tun. Surely a 1v3 is not on the cards for him.
Well, he found 3 kills in round number 1. Round number 2 as well. He's looking for a couple here as well. I wouldn't put it past him. He's feeling it at the moment.
He has made the moves here. Minnesota have tried to hold him in. And he's finding his player. The problem is going to be time, Tun. Back and forth he goes. He's looking for a little bit of a gap. Somehow still alive. It's Priestahh again. It's Priestahh again. And Priestahh eventually wins that gunfight. Gizmo making so many good moves, but it's not going to be enough.
Good effort there from Gizmo, but crucially for the side of London and to the detriment of the Minnesota Røkkr, he gets a hold of that 7th kill, that glide bomb now in his back pocket, and what a map to have it on. Of course, you've got the cover in and around Paulehx, but you really can dictate what you want to do on the map with that glide bomb. I wouldn't quite say it's a secured round for the side of London Royal Ravens, but it'll put them very much on their way to getting another one on the board, you would like to think. But what a start from Gizmo at 7-1. Still the lead here for Ravens. Minnesota Røkkr going towards their more favoured A push. Are Ravens ready and win?
Oh, that's Afro with the first blood again. Gonna try and get out of it. Stun's going to hit him as well. Havok's going to get that one towards the back. Attach on Overwatch. This bomb is going down. And they're going to have to try and retake. Oh, there we go. Straight in with a nade.
This is doable for the side of London, just taking their time, but Minnesota surviving. And there you go. Well, there's the glide bomb invested. If you're Minnesota, not in the best of positions. Priestahh gets away, but right into the clutches of Nasty, and now it is attached left in a 1 versus 3. There's number 1.
The time is with him. If he makes one more kill here, it's going to be huge. And this will be a 1v3 for attach. And you can see Gizmo, but Gizmo, no. Gizmo decides, hey, have you not been watching? I've been running this Desert Siege so far. You're not getting the 1v3, and he does it with just enough time. I thought Attach had that. He got the first bullet on, but it's the last bullet that counts. And London go 3-1 up.
That is crucial that London secured that one. If you invest the glide bomb, then get 1v3'd, where's your head at? Gizmo just about clutches that one up. And I feel like the glide bomb was coming in just to make sure, yeah, let's solidify this round. Yeah, we push Priestahh in towards Paulehx. Yes, okay, we find that kill, but you know where thereabouts Attach is going to be. Nearly fed yourselves to the lions there, boys. London Royal Ravens still have that lead. Like a little bit scary for a moment.
Havok, information has been found, but Priestahh will take down Gizmo. This kind of means that London have to reevaluate. They know somebody's on the bomb. They know someone's outside, and Zero says, all right, let's bring this back to the realms of reality. Røkkr still holding fast. This could come down to Havok, but he's been seen and been chased, and Nasty gets him. Attach. An incredible flank, though.
No, he didn't see Afro, but he's going to be in such a good position here. Now he's going to be known to be there. Nasty going to be lined up here as well. Attach on the flank. Finds 2, and Zero's left all alone. Fantastic work from Attach. Those are the kind of rounds that... No, plays that win you rounds, I should say. Zero left in a difficult spot, 35 seconds.